no one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each movie make, cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
Peace, everybody, and assalamu alaikum. You are watching a special edition of the Final Call News Hour. I am your host, Herman Muhammad. The Final Call News Hour is the partner of the Final Call newspaper and also the Final Call online edition that you can visit at digital.finalcall.com. The Final Call newspaper is the most widely circulated black-owned and operated publication not only in this country but also in the world. It also serves as the communications organ for the Nation of Islam. Again, I am your host for this afternoon's program, Herman Muhammad, and today we're going to be coming out of, let's see what we're going to come out of, volume number 34, issue number 4, which reads, What's in it for us? Black voters are needed to help Democrats keep the Senate in national November elections. But what are black voters supposed to get in return? Democrats are ducking President Obama, trying to attract white voters, and virtually no one is talking about a black agenda or black issues. And those stories appear on page 3 and page 16 of this edition of the Final Call newspaper. We're also going to be going over issue or volume number 34, number 5, which reads, Crack, the CIA and Black America's Drug Crisis. Kill the Messenger movie rekindles interest and outrage over Central Intelligence Agency ties to drug trafficking and the 1980s crack cocaine epidemic that devastated the neighborhoods, destroyed families, and put thousands in prisons. And that story, of course, appears on page 3 of this particular issue of the Final Call newspaper. Again, I am your host, Herman Muhammad, and I know I've been away for a little while, haven't broadcasted in a few weeks, and we have some really powerful issues that we want to cover today, especially in light of the political season and the results of the national elections, the midterm elections, where senators and congresspersons were elected, most of which were Republicans. And so black people and the Democrats are all up in arms about what happened during this particular election cycle. So we'll delve a little bit into that and what my thoughts are on where we should be politically, as well as the Nation of Islam stance, and most importantly, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So this story, which appears in this particular issue of the Final Call newspaper, What's in it for us, appears on page 3 and is written brilliantly by our brother Askia Muhammad, who writes out of the Washington, D.C. area. And it starts out, Black voters needed in midterm elections, but black issues are still unwelcome in 2014. With nearly 500 congressional, Senate, and even gubernatorial races to be decided in this year's 2014 midterm elections, President Barack Obama's name is nowhere on any ballot. But when the votes are counted on November 4th, which is already passed, all eyes will be on the first black president anyway. Blacks are once again being courted, souls to the polls, and that's in quotes, in a crucial Senate campaign in Georgia. Only this time, Democrats don't want to appear outwardly too eager to win black votes, lest they offend whites, many of whom feel Democrats already pander to black special interest groups. Ironically, just the opposite is true. While black voters have been super loyal to the Democratic Party and to Mr. Obama, giving him more than 90% of their votes twice, black households have suffered more than all others in the tepid recovery from the Great Recession of 2008, in which only the very wealthy have made gains. And again, this deals with the November elections that just passed, where the Republicans won both the House and the Senate. Now, I know locally in Colorado, we had a Democrat, Andrew Romanoff, running for Congress, and we also had Mark Udall, an incumbent senator who were running, who both were defeated pretty readily by the Republicans. We also had the governor's mansion up for election, and Governor Hickenlooper barely held on to that office by defeating Republican Bob Beaupre. And, you know, this election, I was somewhat indifferent about the election because of the candidates. And let me say this. Democrats decided to run upon issues that were really non-issues. They didn't want black people to vote for the Republican because he was against abortion, right? Or he was going to stop women from getting abortions, which is really a non-issue altogether. So he easily won. As black people, we have to learn to vote our conscience and to vote our interests, because these people don't have our interests at heart. Once we learn to vote our interests, then we can have some stake in this particular political system. But as a people, we have to learn to be more politically sophisticated. And what I mean by that is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and let me give you a picture of our beloved minister. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, some years back, taught us that politics without economics is symbol without substance. I'm going to say that again. Politics without economics is symbol without substance, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is his teacher, taught us in his illustrious book, Message to the Black Man. And here's a picture of our beloved messenger of Allah, the exalted Christ, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that what we needed was a Muslim politician who would speak to the issues of our people. If such a person existed, and at the time of the writing, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had great admiration for Adam Clayton Powell, that we should put our votes and our political power behind that particular candidate. Now, I say all that to say this. None of the persons who are running for Congress, either House, the Senate, or the House, cater to any black issues. Just like the paper was stating that black issues were largely ignored. Now, if we could find a politician who would speak to the prison industrial complex, who would speak to these mandatory minimum drug laws where our people are being imprisoned disproportionately with comparison to white people, then we should put our political power behind that particular candidate. But again, none of these candidates were speaking towards our issues. So I say to you humbly, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that if you want to vote and participate in this political system, then make sure your candidate speaks to your issues. Don't just vote for them because they are a Democrat. Democrat, or as I like to affectionately refer to them, Democrats, ignore the black vote because we always vote for them. The Republicans, as I like to refer to them, also ignore black votes and black issues because we never vote Republican or Republican. Okay? So we have to be more politically sophisticated. The other thing is, in going back to what I was stating earlier about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan saying that politics without economics is symbol without substance, is that if we desire to participate in this particular system and none of these candidates are speaking to our issues, then we have to develop an economic base. The business persons among us have to get together and let's buy us a politician. If we can't do that, then again, there's no point in us participating in this particular system. Again, if we want to participate in this system, which I don't buy into at all. I already have a leader, teacher, and guide. But if we desire to participate in this particular system, let's buy us a politician. Pool your resources and buy someone who represents your issues. That's if you want to participate in this political system. Now, going back to our beloved brother Obama, and his name was mentioned in the piece by Brother Askia. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talked about him and what he would be able to do or would not be able to do long before he was elected. And here's a synopsis of what I just stated, my particular philosophy on politics and our participation, and my particular view on politicians, which I didn't make up myself. I am a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But here's what Brother Farrakhan said about President Obama long before he won the office. Just take a listen and see if what he says rings true.
And it needs to change. And if it will not change, then we need to get rid of it and put in a government that will guarantee the American people life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness guaranteed by the Constitution.
You're talking about Democrats, one of which who's running for president who lives in your very neighborhood. What do you think of him?
I like him very much. I'm not saying that I'm going to vote for him, but I like him because he's fresh. He doesn't come with a lot of the baggage that those in politics, that have been in politics and been corrupted almost, or not almost, corrupted by it, sold out to the moneyed interests, sold out to the multinational corporations, sold out to the international bankers. So when you look at Bush, you think you're looking at the president. There's another power behind him. When you look at Blair, you think you're looking at the prime minister. There's another power behind him. When you look at Merkel in Germany, you think you're looking at the head of state, but there's another power behind these people. And the powers that are dogging the whole world are the international bankers that finance both sides of a conflict.
Do you think that Barack Obama is the answer to George Bush?
No. I think he's capable of being an answer. But the powers that contend with presidents, I'll go back to President Jimmy Carter. When he was a governor running for the presidency, he saw UFOs. And he said when he became president, he was going to open the file, which is secret, held by the government. When he got in office, we didn't hear any more from him. People say things when they're running because they don't know the powers that really control the House
that they're going to live in. And that's why Barack Obama is clean. He's fresh. But the powers are eating at him right now. The powers that want to control him are at him right now. And how can he get to be president unless he raises $100 million? And who of the poor people have $100 million to give him? And who will provide him with the money so he can contend with Mrs. Clinton and her big bank, or Giuliani and McCain and their growing bank? So the people that bankroll you, they're the ones that ultimately call the tune.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that no matter who sits in the White House, if you don't uproot the structure that corrupts them, you still don't have a president. You have a figurehead. And frankly, that's why I say America needs a regime change. And just like you have to go into the floor when there's pipes underneath it that break and bust, you got to uproot what's under the government of the United States of America, or the American people will never have what the Constitution guarantees.
Do you think Barack Obama can do that?
No, absolutely not. He's a good person, and he's looking at this thing with the beautiful heart, the beautiful eye of a beautiful person. He knows some of the ugliness of politics because he's been in it long enough. But the real wickedness of the face of politics, you're looking right into the face of Satan himself. And Satan doesn't intend to be uprooted by an upstart from Chicago or Miss Clinton from New York. Satan is the boss. This is his world, and he can only be uprooted by the one that is anointed with power to uproot Satan, and that is the Mahdi, or the Christ, that comes into the world.
Then who can do it? Who can uproot that?
I just said it.
But you don't.
None of these. These are victims of satanic influence. Religion is controlled by Satan. That's why religion is ineffective. The divisions in the Muslim world, that's satanic. Muslim killing Muslim, Muslim bombing another mosque of a Muslim, if they did, that's un-Islamic. We've become so insane because of injustice. If we strap a bomb on ourselves and go kill another human being that didn't bother you, this is madness. And that's why the Mahdi, or the Christ, must come into the world to clean up religion. Because the church's garment is dirty and it needs washing. The bridegroom is coming, and the bride has dirtied her garment with adultery because she's gotten in bed with the world. Our government.
There it is. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you know, and his answers were prophetic as usual, and right and exact. I wanted to talk just very briefly about this next issue of the Final Call before we move on, and I'll also give you an explanation for my absence as of late. But this issue, of course, is volume 34, number 5, which reads Crack, the CIA, and Black America's Drug Crisis. And it deals with the Kill the Messenger movie that's coming out, which builds upon the crack epidemic that started in the 1980s and its impact on black people, and runs it down real quick. So I'm going to just read this very briefly, and then we'll move on. And this story, of course, appears on page 3. Kill the Messenger recalls CIA crack cocaine connection and the black misery that followed. The film Kill the Messenger rekindled interest and outrage over CIA ties to drug trafficking and the 1980s crack cocaine epidemic that devastated neighborhoods, destroyed families, and led to the imprisonment of thousands from black communities across America. The movie highlights the work, honor, and the demise of journalist Gary Webb for his investigation into CIA-connected drug peddling, and the movie release October 10th again raised the important question, how is Black America faring in a post in the post-crack years. Not too well, according to activists, political scientists, gang interventionists, and legal experts. And the article goes on a little further to compare the crack epidemic and its impact even to slavery. And I'll just read a little bit of that. As far as I'm concerned, looking at the research, looking at what I see in front of me in terms of our community, really it had a greater impact on certain aspects of our community as black folks and in terms of rooting at this fabric of the black community than enslavement did, said human rights attorney Nana Yamfi. So, sister goes on to talk about crack and the epidemic and its impact on black people. So I just want to remind you, man, I don't want to spoil the whole story for you because I want you to read it yourself. But I definitely want you, if you see one of the Mighty FOIs, to pick up this particular issue of the Final Call newspaper, Crack, the CIA, and Black America's Drug Crisis, as well as the previous issue, What's in It for Us, dealing with the November elections. I wanted to talk briefly about what's been going on locally in the city of Denver, as well as what's been going on in the Nation of Islam. In the Nation of Islam, there is a theme that we're trying to get back to, and that's actually doing something for self. That's actually economic development. And so currently, the economic blueprint, Muhammad's economic blueprint, is still going on. So you can donate now at www.economicblueprint.org. And if you don't know anything about the economic blueprint, Muhammad's economic blueprint, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked us last Savers Day, if 16 million of us could contribute 5 cents a day, which is 1 nickel a day, that is 35 cents a week, that is $1.40 a month, that is $18.20 a year, $18.20. Then at the end of 1 year, we would have $291 million. All praise is due to Allah for that mathematics. And we've been doing very well this last month before the Holy Day of Atonement. We did a drive with the cans. I don't have my can in front of me, but there are small change cans that we're asking our people to donate to. And we collected, at last count, $700,000 in a month nationwide. So all praise is due to Allah. Donate to the Muhammad's economic blueprint. Again, you can go on, and it's a PayPal, www.economicblueprint.org. The other thing that we have going on in the city of Denver is our study group is we're actually going to open up a business wherein we can study the teachings, have coffee, meet, do some community relations right here in the beautiful city of Denver. And this space is going to be at 14th and Popular, and it's going to be called the Knowledge Cafe. Again, we'll have coffee there. We'll have books and tapes of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We'll sell the bean pie, and we'll also have some Islamic art. Everything to do with the culture of Islam as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan. So if you can, what I'm going to do, brothers and sisters, is I'm going to put a link down below this video to my PayPal, where you can donate to help make the Knowledge Cafe a reality. And what we're going to do in coming weeks, because we intend, inshallah, to have this thing ready to go at the first of the year, is we'll give updates. Right now, the space is being remodeled. We have the space. It's at 14th and Poplar in Denver. So you can come by and see it, 1432 Poplar Street. But what we're going to do is we're going to do like a video log of the progress that we make. It is going to be a total remodel. The space is not suitable at this time at all. We had to take down walls. We got to put up ceiling. We got to put in floor, and we have to come in with our fixtures. And of course, we're always working on the shoestring budget, which is why I would like or love for any of you to donate anything that you can to this particular endeavor. Again, it's going to be called the Knowledge Cafe, and you could definitely be a part of that. And the details will be forthcoming in terms of our progress and the way that the space is looking. All praises due to Allah. Again, I just wanted to stop in because I hadn't seen you guys in quite some time. I hadn't made a broadcast in a little while, so we thought we'd stop in and do one. In the meantime, in between time, what we'd also like you to do is encourage you, if you have any questions that about the Nation of Islam, about the theology of Master Fard Muhammad and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that you'd like to ask the national representative of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I want to let you know right here and right now that you can ask him that question personally. All you got to do is go to Twitter and hashtag Ask Farrakhan. Got questions, get answers. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan actually tweets, and he actually answers questions on Facebook. So please, man, just get on Twitter and ask Farrakhan, or go to Facebook and ask Farrakhan and get the answers that you need. In the meantime, in between time, remember, stay black, stay strong. If you don't fall, or if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Peace. And we out. Also follow me on Twitter. I'll give you my handle. We out. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned.
I want to get right to the point. The United States of America is about to come under the divine chastisement of God.
It's not a game, not even a war. Beyond rain, beyond storm, beyond Katrina. You ain't never seen a natural disaster.